Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eleanor and today I'm going to be doing a review of Feed by Mira Grant, and this is the first book in the Newsflash series. Huge warning, this is going to be very spoiler filled review, so definitely don't watch this if you're planning on reading the series. But without further ado, let's get started. This is a book that hadn't really been on my radar until Faye from Books and Chocoholic and Kayla from Reading Cloud read some zombie books and held a zombie themed live show. They both absolutely loved this book and are very eager to continue the series, and I really like zombie stories and I don't know why I'd never really heard of this before, but the more I heard about it and the more I read up on it, I thought I was going to love this, and correct, I thought this was fantastic. So a very brief overview of the story. The world they've cured cancer, they've cured the common cold, they're doing really well, and then this virus gets let loose, like it's like a cure, but it infects people, and it's the zombies, turns people into zombies, and they call it the Kellis Amberley infection, and that's what you're called. You're infected with Kellis Amberley, and that's just two names meshed together with scientists that had conflicting science stuff happen that created the zombies. So you're now set 25 years or something after the initial outbreak, and you're following two people. You're following siblings, Georgia and Sean. They are bloggers. They're reporters, but they work online doing blogs. So this is like a very modern take on like a zombie book. This is a very modern take on like what would happen with a zombie outbreak. So we're now at the point where society is kind of, back to some semblance of normal with the zombies. So they have ways of doing the blood test to check whether you're infected or not. People live in different levels of community. So you've got like the really tight levels that are many fences and all these checkpoints, and kids can play out in the street, and then you have other areas where you're in constant danger of infection with the zombies because you live in an unsafe space. So I think it's like numbered from like 20 down to 1 or whatever in terms of the severity of likelihood of infection. So depending on where you live, it depends on how you grow up. In this world, there's the two types of journalists. There's still a traditional journalist, newsprint kind of journalist, and TV, and then there's obviously what Georgia and Sean are, which is blogs. They have like domain over the online space, and I thought it was really good, like a very modern take on the zombies. I loved this world. I thought it was really well built. I liked the different structures that were made for how the zombies functioned. I liked the different societal structures that were in place. Georgia and Sean win a competition, obviously, if you've read the book you'll know, to obviously follow the president about. This was a bit where I was slightly hesitant with this because I don't really enjoy political books and I really don't know anything about the American political system. But the fact that this was set zombie apocalypse style, post-apocalyptic, made this brilliant. You're following a presidential campaign in America and they're trying to avoid zombies. This was so clever. It was so brilliant. I really enjoyed it. It's a really massive book and I flew through it. There's so much like political manipulation. There's so many issues with the zombies. I just loved the insertion of parts of their blog and their team of bloggers they have who are different types of bloggers. I just thought the whole setup of this book was really well done. I really enjoyed the characters. I thought they had great chemistry together, like Sean and Georgia, who he calls George. They get on really well together. I like how they complement each other. The kind of eye problem that Georgia has, what's it called? Can't remember off the top of my head. The eye condition that Georgia has was really clever, and I thought like a really interesting addition to the story. And it really added a complexity to the story and to Georgia's character, and I just thought it was really, really clever. I loved Senator Ryan and his family and the way he was, and I just thought the whole like American political system interesting to follow in this context. It's not something I'd ever be interested in otherwise, but I think I learned more about the American political campaign race in this book than I have in any other format, because why would I bother? I'm Scottish. But overall, I just thought this was really, really cleverly well done. The world building was excellent. I really felt like you knew how this society functions on a day-to-day basis, like the levels of safety and precaution that are taken. I liked how this zombie virus works in this world, who it can infect, in what capacity, how it's passed on. I liked all the technical aspects of how they've got like the blood tests to check if you've got infection. They've got all the souped up vehicles and houses with all the security, and it's technologically advanced in that sense. It's really gadgety and things like that, with all the tiny microphones and cameras, all the recording equipment. It was very spy-like in terms of that, and I really enjoyed that aspect. The media aspect of the story was just really well crafted. Because you've got, it's the blogs, you've got between chapters and on certain pages, you've got excerpts from the blogs, posts from different characters who do different types of blogging, and they really give you a snippet into what this world's like, because it's not just excerpts from the blog posts about the current political campaign. You're going back in time and reading excerpts from an incident that happened about this, or their musings on different laws for this world, and it's a really good way of having flashbacks without actually having flashbacks, so that you as a reader build up a wider picture of what this world's like. It was also good and interesting to follow a kind of political campaign from like the blogging perspective, because it was a bit more casual, as you should say, and because Georgia and Sean are young, I think they're both like 24 or 25, they're looked at in a particular light, and I thought it was interesting to follow them and how they grow and develop and work with the senator in this political campaign, and I just thought the arc of that through the story was really well explored. The explanations of how everything went in this world were really well done and explained, and just seemed really rational. I can imagine this being how it would happen. It was eerily realistic in certain aspects, and that I always just find that really an excellent part of post-apocalyptic stories and zombie books like this. If you can make me feel like this is a possibility, you get that eerie, creepy feeling, and you just go, oh, that's it. Just hits you differently. To think that this is a possibility is just fun and great. Yeah, to even think that this would be a possibility is just adds an extra element. The action in this book is really well done as well. It mostly involves like guns and I think a crossbow, from what you see, and I think all the action sequences were really well described in terms of how people deal with the zombies, because obviously you can't get too close, because if you get infected with their blood or they bite you, you're a goner. I just think it was really, really well done. Obviously now we're getting into proper big spoilers. The kind of terrorist aspect of the story and like the assassination attempts were really well included, and obviously there's snippets of who you think it is, but to then actually find out in the end that it is Tate that's kind of perhaps masterminding this was very interesting. I enjoyed how that was like interwoven, and you were trying to find the links between things and work out like what would be the motivation for that. You could kind of imagine, I kind of did think it would be maybe end up being Tate, but even though I kind of thought that, it doesn't ruin anything to find that out in the end, because I just think it was very well done. I also really enjoyed that this book didn't have any romance in it. There was obviously the side romance that Buffy had with Chuck. Was it Chuck? Yeah, that was obviously a very, very, very small sideline romance. And then obviously there's the governor and his wife, but the two main characters, Sean and Georgia, they don't have any romantic entanglements, and they both clearly state in the story that that's not what they want out of their lives, and they're not doing any romance. And I just find that a breath of fresh air. Romance is pushed and squeezed into everything in so many books, it's just not necessary. And it was really refreshing to read a book where there wasn't really any romance. That wasn't the point of this. We were in a post-apocalyptic world, in a zombie-infested world, following bloggers on a political campaign in America, trying to see if a senator could get it to presidency. And that was the point of this story. And I liked that it didn't have romance in it. And I just thought it was a bit more unique in that sense. And then when you obviously get to the end, obviously the tragic happening of Georgia, I had a little tear in my eye. That was quite an emotional end. And for me, I thought it was quite unexpected. I wasn't expecting Mira Grant to kill off the main character, basically. It's her point of view we're reading from in this story. And I just thought that was really refreshing of an author to do. And it obviously means that you're following Sean's point of view in the next book. I'm really intrigued to see how that goes and what angle this story is going to take, because it'll be probably a revenge story now. So yeah, this was just a very different type of zombie book, and I can understand that maybe this wouldn't be for everyone, because it maybe isn't the typical zombie book. It's very, very, very politically heavy and very focused in on journalism and news. But I just thought it was really refreshing. I love reading books that take things in a different way, and I just thought this was really well done. And yeah, it won't be for everyone, but I loved this. 5 stars for me. Really, really enjoyed it. Totally different take on a zombie story, and I'm excited to continue the series. Yeah, I believe there's 4 books in the series, and I'm excited to get to the next one and to see what else is in store. So yeah, that's all my thoughts about Feed by Myra Grant. Let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy this book as much as I did? What were your favourite or least favourite parts of this book? This was very much an unexpected love for me when I found out that it was so politically heavy, but I loved it and I flew through it. So yeah, please be sure to leave some comments if you've got anything you want to say about the book. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!